Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday's DeltaMath video. Today we will be going over parabola functions and plugging in for x. As always, I encourage you to grab a piece of paper and follow along with me, not only because these are good examples, but so that you can go back to your notes later instead of rewatching the video for kind of advice and examples on how to do this. So Tuesday, we are dealing with parabola functions, which really just means plugging in for x. So I think I'm only going to do like one example of this because I think once you see it once, you'll kind of get the idea behind it. If you want to see more examples, let me know and I will do that for you. So this one says to evaluate the function. I'm just reading along. Evaluate the function. And it gives us this f of x equals negative 2x squared minus 2x plus 10. And then it says find f of 2. Okay, so let me say this again one more time, because when we read a function, what we say is very different than what is necessarily written down. So this says f of x equals negative 2x squared minus 2x plus 10. Find f of 2. So this problem type is a classic, right? When you see this 2 here, this is telling you to replace, substitute, plug in the 2 for the x. Replace, substitute, or plug in for the x. Again, I would strongly encourage you to put this in your notebooks just so you have a physical copy of what we're talking about out loud. And there are people who say like the act of writing stuff down helps you make sense of what's going on, and helps make sure that you're not mentally like skipping over something, right? It's harder to not notice the minus sign if you have to write the minus sign down. So yes, if you can, I encourage you to write this down as we go, just to help you kind of keep track and organize your thoughts. Okay, so like I said, this tells us to replace the 2 for the x we see over here. And the reason I think going through these examples is good is because in this particular example, there's more than one x in the function. So when we say f of x, do you see that there's an x here? And there's also an x over here. So when we replace the x, we need to do it every time we see it. So we say f of x becomes f of 2. And so we're just going to rewrite everything we see here, except we're going to replace the x every time we see it with a 2. So negative 2. 2 squared minus 2 plus 10. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, Mr. Powie, this is not good notation, you are correct, right? When I write a 2 and another 2 here, this looks funky because there's a hidden symbol, a hidden thing we do here that might be worth writing down now. And you guys, everyone who's been in my class has answered this question, a ton of times. So I expect you all to be saying or thinking or writing, either doing a multiplication sign, or maybe in this case, using parentheses to indicate that that x is replaced with like a parentheses too. It's even more important over here because we want to show that the 2 is being squared, like the x is being squared, but not the negative 2 in front. Right? Okay, so then we got to calculate this. Here, PEMDAS matters. So in this case, the first thing we would do is 2 squared, which is 4. Right? 2 squared means 2 times 2. And then I'm just going to do that one step just to make it really clear that that is the first part of PEMDAS, right? 2 squared becomes 4. After this, if you can already do this on your own, great. -2 times 4 is -8. -2 times 2 is -4. And then there's a plus 10 at the end. And then we just have to add these all together. -8, -4, plus 10. And if you can do that in your head, great. If you want to use a calculator, double great, right? DeltaMath comes equipped with a calculator. So if I want to do -8 minus 4 plus 10, the total answer I see in the corner here is -2. And that's it, right? In this case, the arithmetic is important. You do need to be able to remember that that squaring happens to the 2 and everything else is multiplication. But really, it's just remembering this problem. The theory in this problem is just to remember that this 2 is the number we're using to substitute or to replace x, wherever we see it, right? 2 instances of x means there should be 2 instances of 2. Everything else is arithmetic: multiplication, squaring, addition, final answer. So final answer, -2. Submit. Green check mark, feels good. So that's Tuesday's functions, right? Plugging in a number and then doing the arithmetic. If you have any questions, let me know. But other than that, happy Delta mathing, everyone.